Hi, I'm Jack Sayles, and for my Appalachian Literature project, I'll be making a Southern staple, biscuits. Now, I'll warn you right off the top, I'm no cook, and this recipe is from a woman who didn't believe in them. This particular recipe for biscuits comes from noted Appalachian author Rick Bragg, who's written several books about what it was like growing up with his family in Depression-era Appalachia. This particular book was called Tales from My Mama's Kitchen, where Rick Bragg attempts to compile a list of recipes from his mother who grew up cooking traditional Southern meals but had never seen a recipe book in her life. Unlike Rick's mama, who often used phrases like, "a person can't cook from a book," or "a person can't cook from numbers," we're going to be attempting to use a recipe containing terminology such as a cup or a teaspoon instead of a smidge or some. This recipe for biscuits calls for 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of shortening, or Crisco, and 3/4 cup of milk, which you see lined up through here. So moving forward, your first step is going to be coming over and making sure your oven is preheated to 450 degrees. After that, you'll come back and you'll take your dry ingredients, your flour, So your first step is going to be making sure you come over here and make sure your oven is preheated to 450 degrees. After that, you'll come back and you'll make sure you combine all of your dry ingredients, your flour, your baking powder, and your salt into your bowl. I have my ingredients pre-prepared for convenience sake. After you've combined all your dry ingredients, you want to make sure that you've got them all mixed together. All right, next step is you're going to take your Crisco here and you're going to cut it into your dry mixture as best you can. Hopefully having a little more luck than I do. And you're going to take your pastry mixer and combine it. Until the mixture resembles kind of coarse crumbs. So you're going to keep mixing until you've got your flour here looking kind of like a coarse crumb. And then you're going to make a little flour bowl. Just take your hands in here, kind of part the flour until you've got a little divot in the middle. Then you're going to take your milk and pour it in slowly whilst whisking with a fork. Then you're going to mix it until your dough is soft, moist, and peels away from the bowl. Away from the bowl, you're going to come over, get a baking sheet. Just have a dusting of flour on there and move your dough in. And you're going to toss this dough with the flour until it's no longer sticky. All right, and then when you've got it rolled down to your half-inch sections, or half-inch thickness, you're going to take a cup or a biscuit cutter or something of that like, and you're going to cut your biscuits out. And lay them out onto a pan. continuing on until you can't cut any more out. At which point, what you'll do is take your remaining dough, get it back up into a ball, and start over. And then once you've got all your biscuits cut out, time to put them in the oven. Rick Bragg's mama used to say you put them in until they're done, which is golden brown. And she couldn't quite answer beyond that how long that would be in minutes. But for regular people, for just us, it's gonna be about 10. So they're golden brown at the top, crispy on the bottom, and soft and fluffy in the middle. Okay, so we checked back a few minutes ago at the 10-minute mark and they weren't quite done yet. So here we are at about 14 and a half, 15 minutes. As you can see, oh, golden brown on the top. They look delicious. Let them set for just a minute to cool down, and then we'll start preparing them over. Here we've got jelly, honey, and butter. Cut it open. Throw just a little bit of butter on there. Get some honey. Mix this butter in. That's awesome. Mix the honey around and enjoy.